Hi children, hope you're all okay. I'd like to read you a story, and the story I'm going to read to you today is called Tom's Tale. Are you all sitting comfortably? Tom's tail was curly, like a rolled up rubber band. It was a very neat little tail for a piglet, but Tom thought his tail looked silly. In all other ways, Tom was a proper little pig. He was nice and pink and pale, with dirty patches where he had wallowed in mud. He slurped and sniffed in the pig trough with his brothers and sisters and made all the usual piggy noises. But how he wished he had a straight tail. Oh, can you see? All his brothers and sisters have straight tails, and there's Tom's all curly. Sam the sheepdog tail had a very lovely plump tail. Hannibal the horse had a long swishy tail, and Geraldine the Jersey cow had a thin stringy tail with a tuft on the end. Even the rat's tail is nicer than mine, says Tom miserably. Oh dear. Why don't you get the tail straightened, says Hannibal. How? asked Tom. Like this, says Hannibal. And he put his big hoof on the end of Tom's tail. Now walk away, he said. Oh, I think this looks a bit painful. Oh dear. Tom squeaked and squeaked as he began to walk. His tail stretched out, and when it had uncurled to the very end, Hannibal let go. Bing! Back the tail sprang, and Tom hurtled forward. Oh dear, look. Poor Tom. Ouch, yelled Tom and Sam together. Tell you what, said Sam, picking himself up. Why don't I take a hold of your tail and you can lead me along? That would straighten it. So Tom took Sam for a walk past the pigsties. Oh, look at all the pigs looking. Round the pond and over the buttercup meadow. That's enough, squealed Tom. Let go. Bing! And back sprang the tail to its usual curly self. Tom felt very miserable. Oh dear. Geraldine looked at Tom and chewed thoughtfully. Suddenly she had a very good idea. She told it to Sam, who took hold of Tom's tail again and stretched it. Then he pushed the tail onto the big patch of gooey, squelching mud. He made Tom lie with his tail covered in mud for an awfully long time until, what do you think's going to happen? The mud dried, and Tom's tail was set into a long, thin pencil. Yippee! Cried Tom. He twirled around trying to see his new straight tail. Ouch! Said Sam. Tom had poked him right in the chest. Oh dear. You don't half look silly, says Tom's mother. But Tom likes being different. I wag my tail like Sam does, he says. Whack! The tail hit Tom's sister in the face and then prodded his brother in the bottom. Stop it, Tom, they both cried. Oh dear. When it was dark, Tom's mother gathered in all her piglets for the night. They liked to snuggle in a big piggy heap, but Tom's tail got in the way. Oh dear, he's poking his brother in the bum. Oh dear me. Go away, cried all his brothers and sisters as they chased Tom right out of the pigsty. Poor Tom. He tried to curl up outside, but it wasn't very comfortable to lie down with a tail as stiff as a pencil. At long last, though, he did fall asleep. Oh dear. In the night it began to rain, but Tom went on sleeping. As it rained, the hard mud softened and slid off his tail. Look what's happened again. By the time the morning came, his tail was as curly and twisty as it had ever been. Grunting happily, Tom went back to the pigsty. Who wants a straight tail anyway? Said Tom later as he pushed into the trough with his brothers and sisters. Now, if I had a long enough nose like Hannibal, the horse, instead of a silly snout, I could really get at the food. The end. Oh dear. Poor Tom. He wanted to change his tail, but then he remembered we're all special as we are, aren't we? I hope you enjoyed that, boys and girls. See you all soon. Bye.